Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's the final day of our first week together training. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? So it's a Friday, this is my last training day for this week. And the week's been rather exceptional. We've had a few changes. You know, we changed away from doing lengthened position pause reps. So we've kind of completely removed that, which was, quite a big change. And we've had some good progress this week, and I just checked the calendar. We are 2 weeks out from Comic-Con. I didn't realize we were so close, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, we're 2 weeks out, which is very exciting. I am not sure if I will stay in a deficit for a little bit after the convention or not. It kind of depends entirely on how I feel. I very well may feel like I have a bit more in me to go. But as of today, we have hit goal weight, which is really, really nice. We hit 84.7 kilograms this morning, which is super, super awesome. Not that I had a goal weight specifically, but I thought, hey, if I can get to 84 kilograms in 6 weeks, that means that I've gotten even better at losing, weight, losing fat mass over the last, little period of time, which is super exciting, to be quite honest with you. It means that, over time I've gotten much, much better at this. And each time I've come into a calorie deficit, I've been better than the last time. The first one I did was like 4 months, and I lost I went from 89 kilograms to around 80. That was the very first time I did it. That took 4 months. Actually, no, I got to 82. I tell a lie. I got to 82. And then from there, we had a rebound. This was a long time ago now. And then I tried again. I got down really, really lean. It's that 79 kilogram mark or something like that. That may have been the first time. I don't exactly remember. But I definitely rebounded from that. And then from there, I continuously got, down to 86. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm around 90. And then I got down to 86. And I was like, okay, that took 3 months. That's good. I remember distinctly being 92 kilograms. I dieted for 3 months, got down to 86. And I was like, damn, I'm lean. And then the next time I got down to 84. And I was like, holy shit, I was not lean at all back then. And it's really exciting to see how my body's changing the leaner I get. But obviously there are limitations for me personally in how I'm able to stay in that deficit. Now, has much changed since those first few times? Well, yeah, I'm better at it, and also I have experience dieting, which I don't think you can understate in any capacity. The knowledge that this won't be forever. It's a very temporary thing. It serves a purpose. It's a tool in my tool belt, and I'm using it right now. And that it's all with the purpose of building that confidence and that, rapport with myself to be like, okay, we're trying to do this and eventually get to a point where we don't have super, super big spikes in eating habits after this. That's the aim. That's the long-term goal. And so each of these calorie deficits serves that goal and to that end, which is super, super exciting. And this one now, I gave myself 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, I've gone from 88, 87 kilograms down to now 84, and I've still got another 2 weeks of the diet at least, which means that, at least in my experience, one, I didn't get as heavy as I have previously. That's good. That's really, really good. So even if I haven't gone from 92 kilograms down to 84 or 86, I've gone from 88 kilograms down to 84 and counting. That's really, really good. It means that I didn't, put on as much fat mass, so I didn't have to lose as much fat mass, but also it means that I can do this in a shorter time frame to get to this. If I'm able to, for one, stay at a lower body mass and also a lower amount of fat mass, I'll be able to come down to this weight in a much more reasonable time frame. So I don't need to diet for as long, which is a really good thing because dieting can be quite hard. The other thing is that I am currently about to enter unexplored territory if I'm able to keep this for the next few weeks, which is why I'm really happy about what I'm doing. I don't have a goal weight. I never do. I'm I want to get to 83 kilograms this time. No, it's let's just see how my body responds. I'd rather go, for dieting specifically in my case, I'd rather go a little less far than too far. because I know I will rebound much harder if I push myself too far, which is not what I want. It's not my goals. You may have a different experience, and I love that for you. Now let's talk about what our aims are for today. We've got 5 exercises. We have a lat pull down to work on the lumbar lats, I think. Iliac? No, it's lumbar. I'm pretty sure it is lumbar. So, doing a nice lat pull down. Hopefully we're going to get 4 reps out of it today. Again, we're re-standardizing our technique after a few changes from last week. I did report that last week that the weight that I was using, which was about 75, 77 kilograms, was too heavy. However, I'm curious to see that if there will be any changes this week with maybe some cueing or some technique. If not, that's okay. We can just know that that weight was in fact too heavy for us, and that's okay. You know, if I can take 2 weeks to realize something is too heavy for me at the moment, that's, you know, that's 2 weeks out of what could have been much longer if I wasn't paying attention, which is fine. Then we'll move on to some flat bench press if it is available, and we will do, you know, a single set of that as well. I think we're looking for about 4 reps on that. If I can get 5, I'll be very happy, but I'll tell you that when we come to the actual set itself. So doing flat bench, again, removing pause reps from our specific instance here because there are pause at the bottom of the eccentric, which again is something that I'm taking out of my program. After that, we've got our superset, the one superset that I do in these, I believe, which is my row into shrug in that one machine, which is just a really lovely combo. So we hit goal for like 115 in our last session, which was on Tuesday, so it would have been the second video up on here. And so we're looking to push that now and either take that for more reps or for more weight. And I think it's more reps that I want to do. So I'll report back in when we actually get to the training of that. So super excited about that. And then there's one more thing which I'll record, which is bicep curls. Actually, no, I don't know if I will record bicep curls because again, I do them standing, or not standing, in a on a bench. So that may not be recorded, but know that they are done, and we're looking for 20 kilograms for 4 to 5 reps. Of course, with the change in technique, 5 reps is potentially on the table. And there is one more thing that I have been doing, a little bit of calisthenic work, where I do some single arm handstands, but they are, you know, not taken to failure. They're just there for me to just have some fun at the end of the session, and that's it. Those won't be recorded either. So we've got 4 exercises on the plate, really, 3 machines. We've got the lat pull down, we've got the bench press, and we've got the combination of row and shrug. And I'm looking forward to all of them. So let's get there, make sure we're warmed up, get into the feeder sets, and then let's do some fucking incredible work. And then get the fuck out of there after we've stretched out. How does that sound? Sound good? Hell yeah! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are way up there. Hope you guys are all doing exceptionally well. We're gonna hit into our warm-up sets. Looks like we'll be heading up towards 77.5 for our main working set. I've got myself listed down for doing 4 reps at that weight. I know last week I was unsuccessful in meeting that goal, so I wish to see if I may surpass my limits, perchance. But let's just get a little bit warmed up here as we prepare for the set. Let's make sure oh yeah, it's way too high. Drop that down a level. There we go. Okay. Good. Cool. That was too light. It was like 20 kilograms. Let's go up to 40. This should provide a little bit more resistance, methinks. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We'll keep it going up. We'll go up to, I'm working at 70, aren't I? So we will go up to 60 here. One of the important things while doing this movement, again, it's one that I've only recently added into my program because I want to, you know, build up my lats. They're one of the lacking pieces of my back. But one of the things that you should prioritize here is not going to full, you know, all the way up to there, because your lats don't have any leverage up here. I think they lose leverage right around this position here. I don't remember the degrees of shoulder flexion that they lose leverage, unfortunately. Also, same thing applies. All the way down here, they also lose leverage for the same reasons as when I was doing my unilateral row. Once your lats pass the halfway point of your body, they just don't have any leverage. Yeah, I've said leverage a lot. Leverage being the ability to exert force. Wonderful. Okay, we're actually closing pretty close now in on our main working set. I think we've got maybe one more, which we'll do at... Ooh, what am I set for 75? I'm set for 77.5, okay. So this last one that we'll do, I'll get a little weight for us. We're gonna do this one at like, let's see, I'm gonna need a 2.5 kilogram weight. Because to go from 75 to 77.5, that's how much weight you need. Cool, so, of course we don't have the best luck with adding weights to machines, but we're gonna put this at 68 for now, and we'll just chalk on our extra plate. This will be our last warm-up set, and we're doing this so far away from failure, as always. This one will really set the tone for our next little bit, so let's make sure we're locked in. Nice. Okay, so things that we are going to be working on in this set. We want to make sure that we are pulling like our lives depend on it. Pause. We're going to be pulling down super, super hard using our back, not our arms. There's something which can happen here. I'm not sure what the specifics are, but when I see people pulling with their arms, I feel like their forearms deviate inward slightly. Like you see this kind of motion. You're not pulling with your lats. The way that I think about pulling with my lats is pulling down with my elbows. Elbows down. Elbows down. Imagining that, say my elbows are here, someone's got strings beneath them, like looped around here, and they're being pulled down like that. That's how you do this version of a lat pull down. Is if you were to get someone who quite literally, you know, you were in that starting position and they looped some ropes around your elbows and pulled them down, that's where the force should be going. So that's what we're going to be trying to emulate here. Again, we're not looking to go to full extension, it's not necessary, and we're also not going to be able to pull all the way down because as sets, you know, fall away, or not sets, as reps fall away, we won't even be able to get close to our chest, which is completely fine. Full range of motion for the lats is not down to your chest, it's probably just above it. It's like somewhere around here for me, I think. And that's obviously based on your pulling path, your arm path, and the width. And this is a super wide grip lat pull down, so pulling path is going to be different than if you were doing like an upper back pull down, which is completely fine and completely fair. So we've got that locked and loaded for that much weight, that's good. Awesome stuff. See how are we looking up there, boys? Ladies and gentlemen? There's that. Bit of chalk? Is that my hairline? Are we losing anything, folks? How are we looking? How are we looking up there? Ladies and gentlemen? How's we got that male pattern baldness? No? No, we good? I think we're good. Thank goodness. Also, this is actually the first time I get to see the top of my head. Yeah, that's one of my crowns. Look at that. That's one of my crowns. So I'm known to have a double crown, which is, you know, its own thing. But I guess that is one of the crowns. How about that? That, or I am, in fact, goddamn. Somebody get that boy's minoxidil and finasteride. Which, by the way, I do use. So, and anything else we want to talk about before we get into this? These are probably super long videos. I haven't had the chance to edit them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I've ordered an SD card reader, so I'll be able to take my, my data out of this, and I'll be able to pop it into my computer, edit them up, post them out. But yeah, for this, the same thing applies as always. We are training to failure. Nothing else matters. Failure being the kind of stick we're using to measure intensity here. We're just looking to train with high intensity, and we do that by training to failure. Usually those things are interwoven. Okay, I still feel like I have like some dust or something on my eye. We are going to rest up for a little bit longer though. So, know that we are aiming for 4 repetitions here. We will then stop the movement after we've reached failure. We'll wait a little bit, maybe I'll joke around with you guys, and then we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more reps, whatever we can eke out, and then set as donezo. Fini. Le fini. Over. That's all the volume that we'll need. Again, in a calorie deficit at the moment. We are 2 weeks out from Comic-Con. I'm not sure how many weeks left of the deficit per se. I might move back up to maintenance and just explore massing from there as and when. But that's where we're at currently. So, I'm going to fiddle around with my camera angle, and then we're going to get into this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get hopping into this here. Currently trying out some songs from my recommended Spotify, Big Stunner by Breton Boy, who I am a fan of. Not sure if I'm a fan of this tune per se, but I am a fan of Breton. I think his Jujutsu Kaisen rap cypher was exceptional. So, in any case, let's lock in and see what we are able to yield from this set. Okay, that was good. That was ish 5 reps. I went for the 6th one, but that 5th one was, I felt like the 5th one lacked some quality control, and I'm gonna chalk that up to my music. This, I'm sorry Breton, but your song, Big Stunner, it did not do it for me. It is not being added to the playlist. So this next one, let's lock in with an actual bop. Infinite from the Sonic Forces vocal track, On the Edge. Not that I'm necessarily a Sonic fan, but this popped up in my, you should listen to this, and the whole playlist, mind. So I've listened to most of the playlist. This one goes fucking crazy. Hell yeah. Okay. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Some good work. Earphone fell out at the end, but what are you gonna do, right? Oh, that was really nice. So, that was 5 reps with 2 extra reps acquired. Let's do as we must and log it in the program. So that is failure achieved. Incredible work. And you know what they say, there's only one way to go from failure, and that's up. So we're going to check to see if the bench is available. At present, it would not appear so, but there is another bench available, so I may go and use that. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the volume that we are doing for our lat pull downs. That's all you really need, to be honest with you. I could spend a great deal amount of my day resting and then go again, but quite simply, I don't feel like doing that. I'm instead just, well, I've done lat volume throughout the rest of the week, you know? 2 days ago I did on this machine right here, which you guys may or may not remember, this one. So I did my other lat work. So that is our lat volume for the week. Finished. Let's go and warm up for some more exercises. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready for our next set on the flat bench, as it just became free. And I think we're working at some 87 kilos-ish. I will have to double check. So we're just going to prepare ourselves for that. The technique I'm trying to emulate here is some super slow descends into a nice push out of that bottom. And hopefully, no pec tears. But we're just going to see how this feels. We may incorporate a pause if we feel a little unsteady. So here we go.
But it's a really good way to promote some hypertrophy is to do some exercises that focus on building up waste products to a burning amount of step into it. And so it's starting to accumulate some
There we go. Okay. You see, we did 4 reps. That's a little bit more, 1 rep more than I normally do. But I never want to take chances with a chest press. We're doing 87.5 indeed, so 87.5 kilograms. We'll take off 20 for the bar. Divided by 2, we've got another 13 kilograms to go. So let's go and fish out those weights. Actually, we're going to do this in an interval of 5 and then 10, rather than just straight into 10, because again, I really want to make sure that I am safe while doing this. I am changing my technique, you know, hopefully by removing the pause, so I do not want to risk anything. So we'll do the 5s, and then we'll do the 10s, and then we will be ready to load on 3.75 kilos and head into the set. So, here we go.
things to make this exercise harder should you wish to slow down.
Cool. Again, we want to keep this as far away from failure as possible because we are still warming up. But I do want to make sure that I'm, you know, getting those nerve fibers firing as hard. Well, as fast as they can't. They don't actually fire any harder. They just fire faster. I think that's right. Have I got the right way around? Yeah. Like every nerve can only have a certain, like it has the same action potential, but the speed at which that action potential. So I'm rambling to you guys. I'm sorry. Right. Last little warm up for our chest press. So again, all we're looking to do here is coordinate that descend and the transition into the ascent and see what happens. And by that I mean make sure that we're pushing as hard as we fucking can. I wasn't going to do another rep, but I remember this is right next to our 1 rep, not 1 rep max, but we're going for like 3 more kilograms than this for 4 reps, so let's not be hasty. Right, that'll be our last little bit before we head into the main work. So let's grab some 2.5 kilogram plates and some 1.25 kilogram plates, bang them on, rest up, and then just hopefully surpass our limits. You know how it is. On the whole though, I'm feeling quite comfortable with the transition period. One thing I did play around with, which I didn't talk about, was the width of my arms. If you pay attention, you might have seen it, but I didn't call it out. So I will let you pass on that as a little freebie for you. But I usually press with a narrower arm path, and I definitely feel like there's less sensation when I do that. So sensation being a bad thing, because it can be, you know, pain, it can be a previous injury, it can be all this other stuff. And I only get it in my right side, and my right side is where I've been injured previously. So there's a good chance that sensation is previous injury. And if I cannot feel that sensation, then, at least in my opinion, I might be pressing with a more optimal arm path, because one side is not feeling more things than the other. That's just my logic. Maybe I am incorrect. But now we're going to tally up the weights and see what we're actually working with here. So we got 3 20s, another 20, and then, what's that? 2.5, 2.5, 1.25, 87.5. Nice, we're locked and loaded, we're officially on that 87.5. Let's have a see, what do we want to really, you know, impart? These can be dangerous. It is a lot of weight. Like I know a lot of people will say it's not a lot of weight until you're pressing, you know, 3 plates. Not 3 plates, 2 plates. 3 plates would definitely be a lot of weight. But for me, this has always been a more tentative movement, because I hear so much about people who have chest tears or this, that, and the other. And, you know I've spoke a lot this week about moving away from pause reps, but if a pause rep is the difference between me, you know, tearing my pec and not, then I'll pause rep every single time, even if it means that my progress is slower. I don't feel like that's the case for a lot of other things that I've done. I feel like for squats, that's not the case. I feel like for a lot of the things that I've changed, that's not been the case. I even feel for bicep curls, my preacher curls, that is not the case. I do feel like I am pretty safe because of the speed that I go rather than anything else. But for this, because of how complex the movement is, and because I've had injuries in my pec, in my shoulder, in my back, all over the place, this is one where I'm a little bit more hesitant to move away from doing pause reps. And that's a fair amount of, you know, a fair desire in my opinion. How are you doing today?
Well, I just squatted 140 across.
Hell yeah! Awesome stuff.
And then rack pulled 155, and then I thought, shit, in 3 weeks' time I'm going to have to squat 155.
Wonderful stuff, man. That's some awesome stuff. So when I was talking about the changes that I was making and the banter from the session on Monday, the very first video that's going up here, that's the gentleman who started lifting like 7 months ago, and he just pulled 155 and squat like 135 or whatever that was for 5. That is incredible. Again, with a belt, you know, all that kind of stuff, but he's, you know, twice my age. He's fucking doing it. Well, he's not twice my age, he's 42. But fuck yeah, dude. Like, he's got a great coach. He's progressing fast. Like, I'm not gonna knock that, you know what I mean? So, am I a great coach? I'm just my coach. That's it. Don't need to take things personally. Everyone here has got their own goals. Everyone's doing their own thing. I know that with my own coaching, I can get to that point, and I think that's pretty fucking awesome. Please go right ahead, man. You're all good. Have a good ride home. Stay safe. I'll see you next week.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. Thank you very much. So, I could actually use a spot, but I am fine to bail this because these are at the perfect height, so I'm okay. With that being said, I think it is time for me to find my headphone, because one of my headphones has stopped working, so just singular headphone, and get into this. Let's have some fun. We are looking to move this weight for 4 reps. Oh, that's my booty. 4 reps, and just have a blast. Let's do swing from the Marvel Rivals, not Marvel Rivals, the Marvel Spider-Man game. This is gonna be fucking excellent. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's break some records, shall we? And that's why I'm comfortable bailing this. But ladies and gentlemen, that was incredible. First of all, my pushing ability felt really solid. Aside from that, I've noted down in my program that I was really struggling with the second and third, or the third and fourth rep last week. And I can tell you right now, my technique was much better this week. And I will credit that to coach that's off camera, Jack, because although I was hesitant with the moving between the pause rep and the full rep, like the speed rep, has results, man. And again, the increase in performance, we will account to change in technique, not progressive overload, not adaptation. It is just a change in technique. But that means for this week, all my baselines have been reset, which is awesome. Do one more. Okay, we're gonna go much further into the rack here. I got it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna lower it down, I'm okay. Wonderful. Gym community, everyone. That is the owner of the gym, and he is an incredible lifter. But everyone here looks out for each other, you know. Everyone wants to save the person who's about to get buried under the bar, but that was it. It was 2 whole reps. Ah! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how much of an increase that is. I normally only get 1 rep out of these. Getting 2 whole reps is really, really good progress. Remember, it's a technical progression. It is not a physical progression yet. Again, if I do this for long enough, it will change to be an adaptation that is causing the increase, but at the moment all that's happened is my technique has changed, and as a result I'm able to do more reps because my technique is, as much as I hate to say it, better. And also, before I forget, and this is for you guys as well, we've got to put respect on the name of our notebook, because we need to know how that was, what we did, and everything else in between. So that was 87.5 kilograms. We did it for 4 reps, and then we did an extra 2 reps after that, with an extra 1 eccentric after those 2 reps. And that means the next week we get to try and move this for 5 whole reps. And if I'm able to do that, I mean, that's definitely looking at a more an increase of, you know, tactile tissue, you know, of the tissue that actually has a contractile effect, which is super, super awesome, super, super fun, and I'm very excited to see how that goes. But I mean, there's not much to it, guys. Train hard, train to failure. You know, the higher you're able to get that intensity, the better your results will be. The better your technique is, the better your results will be. You combine those 2 things, and those will be things that are always evolving. You always think you're working hard, and then you learn some new things, and you're like, fuck, I wasn't doing shit. And then it goes from there, and you may think that's demoralizing, but, you know, if you're always learning, that means you'll never plateau. So, if you do plateau, find out what's going on. Now, we've got one more thing that we'll film here, and then we're going to be done. Not done literally, but done filming most likely, so let's move on to that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably our last recorded set, but I just thought I'd show you something. I was so locked into my training, I didn't even pay attention to this, but look at this. Somewhere along the line, I split open the back of my hand. Look at that, you see that? That's some fresh red stuff right there. Look at that. Don't know how that happened, but alas, it's a good thing I heal very fast. I like to pretend I'm Wolverine. It's a quirk which I developed since I was a kid. It's called being a nerd. Many of you just sounded off that I'm autistic. I promise you I am not. I did seek a diagnosis, and they were like, my brother, you are a regular ass human being. So that is now the level of authority that I carry myself with. For this, we have been improving this lift so much, and I really want to hammer home to you guys that I used to think that the progress was made when you were able to lift these big plates. It is not. The progress is made in the smallest plate. Do it for the 1.25 kilograms, because this has gone from being something that I lifted below 100 kilograms, like, as, you know, that was like my consistent thing, to logging my workouts and putting some of these on every time that I decided I wanted to progress. And that was usually every 2 weeks or so, maybe every week, which, by the way, is because I'm not a very well-trained athlete. And also my technique wasn't standardized, I moved gyms, all this other stuff. Progress is made in those tiny ass plates, man. So, put some respect on those plates, because I need to put more respect on them, and I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to remind you guys to do it as well. Because progress is made in those plates. As I was saying, I went from moving 100 kilograms-ish, so now I'm moving, I think, 110 to 115 kilograms in this movement, which is a ludicrous increase. That is a 10% increase. And most people say that if you can get, you know, a few percentages of an increase over the course of a year, that's awesome. Well, I've gotten 10% in like 8 weeks. Because again, I wasn't tracking my workouts, and I wasn't training very well. And what I mean by that is I wasn't, like, every week I'd be like, yeah, I know how much I'm gonna put on here. But like, my memory isn't that good, I'm sorry. Like, for this kind of stuff, I do so many things, but also complex. Write it down. Be accountable to yourself, write it down. Because you may think your memory is good, but there is nothing better than seeing it written in stone, so to speak. These are my commandments for this week, you know? I'm not religious, by the way. Praise Tiamat. I'm joking. Bahamut's the real OG. Anyway. Let's have a see how much more we need to put on. I don't know how much total I'm actually working with. I've just been ballparking it. We're doing 115 this week. Look at that. That's a 15% increase from like where I was at the start of the year. That's crazy. So let's break that down. Let me break it down for you, Mark. 115 just divided by 2, because no bar to take away. So we'll take away the 50. We're left with 7.5 kilograms to put on top of this. So this will be our last warm-up set, because, you know, we are functionally as warm as we need to be. And then we will get into this, but I tell you what, I'll give you an extra special treat. We will take the pump cover off, because this is probably the last part of the video that'll be in the gym. And yes, I've been hiding this the whole time. I'm not sorry about it, but I also thought I'd use this angle because, again, this is an upper back movement, my guys. You gotta enjoy that. All right. I also feel like, yep, that's what I felt. That's exactly what I was gonna comment on. Okay. This will be our last warm-up set. Good. You guys are flying around there. My God, stay in. There we go. So, ladies and gents, and to everyone in between, we have one goal here. And you guys know what that goal is. Train to failure! The only thing that will dictate my metric for success here is whether or not I reach failure. It's not how many reps I do, much as I might have an idea of how many reps I do. It is simply, do I train to failure or do I not? That is all I care about. Now we've got 7.5 on, and I'll do a tally at the end to make sure I have counted my weight correctly. But I believe I have. And this is all there really is to it, ladies and gents. And again, getting into the gym is a very simple thing. I know it can be difficult, I understand, but the thing that I always like to teach people about is just showing up. Like, if I were to get into the gym, all I would do is go, right, how many days do I feasibly in the future hope to go to the gym for? And I'm talking like immediate feasible, not like, oh yeah, in like 3 years I want to be able to go to the gym every other day. Like, no, I'm thinking, okay, I have this much of a commitment to these things. Let me look at my schedule. Can I fit an hour of the gym in on 2 days a week? 1 day a week? Okay, nice, I can go once a week. Amazing. And then not feel guilty about going that once a week. So remember, going once a week when you haven't gone is more than a 100% increase, because timesing anything by 0 still equals 0. So you've gone for a +1, which is way more impactful. The going from 0 to 1 is more of an increase than going from 1 to 2. Because you're starting. Because you're going from nothing to something, as opposed to something more. I want to really hammer that home. That's like an underappreciated thing, I feel, is going from 0 to something. Everyone wants to go from the something to something more, you know, but go from 0 to something. Make that something that actually, you know, feels good to you and you're not, you know, being so hung up over. And I think I've got 175 on here, so let me just double check. I think the 1.25 is a bit too much. See, count up your weight. I could have been like, why am I not lifting as well? It's because I had more weight on. So 20 times by 2 plus 10 plus 5 plus 2.5 times by 2, that's 115. Okay, good. But this 1.25 kilogram plate, this may very well be going on next week. I can tell you that right now. But that's how I would get started in the gym. Pick the day or the days that you're like, these are the days I will be able to commit to it. And all I want you to do is on those days, at the time slots that you have allocated to yourself, you just go to the gym. And I know that sounds a lot easier than you're, oh, boy, if I don't feel like it. Here's the catch. All you're doing is going to the gym and walking through the door. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Go to the gym, walk through the door. I want you to stand there inside the gym for 10 seconds and then piss off, go home. You're done. That's it. That's all you got to do. Because you see, the thing about doing that is that you're accountable, because you've used your time in the way you would use your time. And it's something that I would use if you want to do other things as well. If you want to start drawing, you've got to, this is the time where I want to start drawing, this is when I want to make art. What am I going to do? I'm going to, at that time, clear everything away, get my art stuff set up, pack it away. Because here's the thing, I can already feel it. I'll want to start drawing. I've done all that work. If you've gone to the gym, you're at the gym, you're in the gym's door, fuck, you're already here now. You might as well, you know. And of course, if your conversation with yourself is, oh, but what if I don't want to go to the gym? Then that's your issue, man. That's on you. You're just lazy at that point. I'm sorry to say that. Pull your fucking finger out. Just go to the gym. Did you not hear me? Go to the gym and then fuck off home. That's it. I hope that's not too harsh for you, but maybe some of you needed to hear that. That's all you got to do. Now then, let's get into this. I've had enough of a rest while I was rambling here with you guys. Let's bring you guys in down here. Let's chalk up, music up, and lock in. We are aiming for 5 reps on both of these. And for those of you who are familiar with how I train this, we're going to be doing 5 reps, hopefully. Then we're going to stop, and then we're going to go for a little bit more. That's the whole thing. My headphones are falling out of my skull. I'm gonna need to get some new ones. That was really good. That was really, really good. Honestly, I wasn't sure I'd make the shrugs there. My technique, or sorry, my grip kind of fell apart after the rows. But we did 5. Fucking did it. That means like every week we've gone from doing, you know, like more weight, more reps, or more reps, more weight, which is phenomenal. Again, I am, in my opinion, not that well trained, so we're getting better. I'm definitely much better after this week than I've been before, and that's enough for me. So, let's do one more and wrap this up. Fucking hell, ladies and gentlemen. Good work. Good work. That's everything. Well, everything for the lifting portion of this video. I'm going to be doing more work, obviously. I've got a bicep set still to go, but I mean, it's not time to flex, I'm afraid, but we're looking a bit juicy, I'm not going to lie. The calorie deficit has been working. Again, we are currently, as of this morning, 84.7 kilograms. Keep getting those mixed up. 84.7 kilos, which is my goal. Because that's what I've gotten to in the past. And we're here. And what I mean by goal weight, as I've said previously, isn't that that's the weight I'm looking to get to, but that's the weight that I've been previously. So if I can get to it, I have re-achieved a previous state of being, which is excellent in terms of comparing muscularity or just knowing that I can get back down to that level of leanness, which is really, really quite good. And so again, we're 2 weeks out from Comic-Con, and I think I might just go to a maintenance after that to see how much I really need the extra calories. Of course I want to eat more calories, of course I do. But that's for the future me to kind of decide. Currently, we've only got one goal. We've got 2 more weeks of calorie deficit, that's that. After that, well, it's anything's game. I still want to put on more mass, more size. You know, Broly didn't build himself. Well, he did build himself, but I'm not going to get that Broly build if I'm not eating. Peep the Dragon Ball merch. But anyway, that'll do it for the lifting portion of the video. I'll catch you guys after we're all done. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. We're here much later. Time has just kind of passed by. I've been in the gym for ages. But hey, that's how it be sometimes. I'm lucky, you know. Got some annual leave, that's why I'm off work early. I was able to go to the gym for a nice long time. Privileges, privileges, privileges. Today's gym session was incredible, and I wish you guys could have seen the surprise on my face with those bicep curls. I ended up doing 6 bombaclat repetition. I did 6 reps. I had 4 listed in my program, and again, that is a difference of technique. So I kept the exact same weight I did, but I did 6 repetitions of 20 kilograms. That's insanity. So I'm very happy about that. My lips are also dry as fuck from how much I've been, case you guys don't know, I lick my lips a lot whenever I'm lifting. It's just a passive thing, I can't control it. That's a tangent, it's a strange tangent. Anyway, I'm very, very proud of that. And also doing the handstands, the unilateral handstands, they were fun. They were good fun. It's always a nice time. And then I ended up the session with a nice long, just enjoy some time, just listen to some YouTube, Magic the Gathering content, stretch it out, head home. And that's where we are now. We're heading back. The clouds are still rife in the sky, over there at least. But, hey, what are you going to do about that? It's a bit chilly, but who knows, maybe the weekend will be warmer. Not that it matters to me, I'm going to be inside. But this has been the first week. This is week 1. And week 1 has been such an incredible week. We've changed our technique after a discussion with the coach, and stuff like that, which was just a haphazard conversation, Good gym community. And again, I think this gym is a really good gym for me. So I think that's awesome. I'm looking forward. My SD card reader is set to arrive tomorrow. So I'll be able to start editing these all together. And I think I will start things off on a bi-weekly schedule of record 1 week, upload the next, record 1 week, upload the next. But we will see, because 2 weeks from now, I am going to Comic-Con, obviously, because this is... Hey, stay in there, man. What are you doing? Either way, I hope that's not scuffed. It might be a little bit scuffed. Let me readjust it. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Very professional here. Well, I don't know, just here. Oh, that's even worse. That's actually worse. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've fixed ourselves. Today's session was really, really good. We worked very hard. Failure was achieved on every single set that we did. Every movement was done with a really good care. My bench press was, everything was better. My lat pull down was strong. Set a new baseline for that. My bench press was strong. Set a new baseline for that. My rows were strong. Continuing to improve on those. That's really, really nice. My bicep curls were phenomenal. That means I get to try the 22 kilogram weights next week. I wish I could try 21. That'd be perfect, but there is no 21 kilogram dumbbell, so we'll have to make do with the 22s. And just so many points along my training, my shrugs as well, have been improving, and I'm very, very grateful for it. I know I'm working hard for it, and I know I've put the effort in. I've programmed effectively. I've been eating well. I've been doing this kind of stuff. Even though I am in a calorie deficit, my recovery is being a massive priority, and I've continue to see increases in performance even throughout the calorie deficit, because my recovery has been just top tier for this mesocycle. So I'm just so proud of myself. And I'm looking forward to what comes after this little period now. I'm curious to see what I'll do, how I feel. But I feel excited, for the most part. Excited. Let's see. Same message as always, really. If you're going to do it with high intensity. If you're going to do it to failure. If you're going to do it with good technique. All this stuff. I say it all the time. You guys know it. It's all there really is to it. It was interesting, actually. I was overhearing some other people talking about, some stuff in the gym. And I'm not going to, name anyone. But, people who are, pretty substantially in the gym. And we were talking about like hypertrophy and like metabolite accumulation, like the burning sensation. I'm like, that's such an outdated discussion. Like, that stuff is not good for hypertrophy at all. Now, of course, has it been for the last several decades the thing? Yeah, absolutely. I remember learning in school about how the burning sensation was, you know, linked to, you know, all this other stuff, and how, you know, hypertrophy training. I remember when hypertrophy training, they used to recommend that you only took like 1:30 to recover. How dumb was that? I remember thinking, that's odd. Like, why would we, for hypertrophy training, take less time, but for strength training, take more time? Like, why wouldn't we just take more time both times? I remember as a kid thinking that. And then lo and behold, out comes the research like, yeah, actually, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You need to feel like you're ready to perform. That sensation you're accumulating, and even now, like literally, the most recent scientific information that I'm receiving is, hey, sensation, that's a bad thing. That's contributing to afferent feedback and things like that. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, this science is continuing to evolve, and it's being tested. So much better now, it appears, that we just are getting so much, you know, different information than what has been like 20 years ago, where people would just train with super high volume, they'd be slamming the weights until like their legs and arms fell off. And I remember that's one of the reasons why I didn't like the idea of leg day, was because it was like, oh my god, I have to train with like all this volume to make sure that like my legs are growing. No, you don't. You really don't, man. You got to do at least one good set to failure. That's it. That's it. If you can get 2 good sets to failure and you hit the same amount of reps on each time, congratulations, but unlikely. So it's really cool to see how the literature is improving, to be quite honest with you. But it's interesting also to see how some people don't know about the current literature yet, which is, you know, just for them to find out, I guess. Either way, we're gonna head inside, eat some food, and do a bit of posing, and then we'll wrap up the video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. And we'll start things off by getting directly into the tank top, which oh so gracefully made its appearance in today's session. Let's bring you guys in just a tad. Okay, so again, we've just hit the 84.7 kilogram ranges of this morning. One of the things that I really noticed was the chest development that's been coming in. So let's maybe get a little pull into that. Let's have a little see up here. Any chest development present? Maybe not now that I've got the pump, but I definitely feel like within this region here, I've leaned out quite nicely. Now my shoulders have, you know, they've been a strong point for a while, but they've got a nice bit of cappage to them, which is quite nice. From the side though, definitely again my biceps disappear. Look at my biceps here. Look how much they've just absolutely vanished off the face of the earth. Look, you can see them there. There they are. What? Where they've gone. So I need to really work on a lot of arm stuff, because again, flexed up, you know, it's okay. It's not bad. It's just, you know, we lift. However, you know, when we go from this just to looking at me, it's like, where does arms go? Where'd they go? Are they there? So definitely something we'll need to work on. But you know, enough teasing around. You guys know the drill by now. You know the drill. Also, I think this video is gonna be fucking long as shit, so that will be interesting. But we'll have to work on that. In any case, here we go. Enough faffing around. Shit comes off. Let's have a look at what we've got going on. You guys have been seeing this consistently now, though. This is me unflexed. I think my back and my abdomen, definitely the highlights. This has been, you know, this has been a whole year in the making of like building up my abdomen as like something that I've actually trained. I only started really training my abdomen last January, yeah, it was January. So this has been like a full year's worth of development, and now I'm getting lean enough that you can actually see it. One of the most interesting things, however, about my abdomen, which I would like to pull into this, is that I have some kind of like connective tissue right in the center here. I'll see if I can make it visible. I'm not sure if I'm lean enough for it to be fully visible, but it's like literally right here, okay? So let's see if... No? Maybe it's like literally like a lump of connective tissue of some kind, like right there. It's very, very strange. I wonder if wonder if you can see it from the side. Oh, you can, maybe. Maybe. It's a very odd thing. I only noticed it when I started, you know, lifting. But I got some kind of like weird connective tissue thing in the center of my abdomen. But again, I'm happy with the progress I've made. I'm happy with how I look. I do still have this chunky ass, you know, sides here, but with, you know, enough time and enough calorie deficits, this will be a working in progress thing. Again, I still love the way that I look. I think I'm very proud of that. You know, I didn't always used to look like this. There's a version of me who would be like on his hands and knees crying with how I look right now. So I'm very, very happy about that. So with that being said, let's just raise this up a little bit. Hit the freezer pose, and then there's his arms. And it's this pose specifically that I feel like I need to work my lats out for, because they just kind of, I don't know, I feel a bit skinny, but that's okay. We'll do a back one as well, why not? And that's all I think we'll do for today, because you guys have seen the other stuff and it's not really that much to write home about. So, ladies and gentlemen, my head is up here. Thank you so much for your consideration and your time. Yeah, that has been a fucking awesome week of training. This is a learning experience, so hope you've enjoyed. Stay tuned, we're going to keep it locked, but we'll just see how often we can do these, and I'm so grateful that you are here. As always, train to failure, stay well, stay safe, look after yourself. The only person that matters in this life is your own. So make sure you love that person, because they are the ones who have to work up every day to make the work happen. And if you can't deal with the small things, the big things will never come for you. Look after yourself. I believe in you. You're gonna do great.